Yeah, I mean, the fan base here is unmatched. I came from Alabama. We have big fan base, but here in Pittsburgh, it's kind of, they're kind of a little bit more crazier than Bama ones. But it's they love their sport.
Everybody, welcome to Training Camp Live, presented by FedEx, where now meets next. That was Steelers first-round draft pick Najee Harris on Saturday. The Steelers were off on Sunday, back to work on a Monday. Craig Wolfley is as well alongside me, as always, Wolf. And a day off for the Steelers. They had 2 padded practices before Sunday, and today back in pads once again.
No doubt about it. The beautiful thing is this is game week. How exciting is this? Everybody's got to have their swerve going on because you've got a game just 4 days away, and you've got to be absolutely excited if you're a young buck and aching to get out there and show what you're capable of doing.
All right, we want some Monday motivation from you, the fans. You can tweet us at #SteelersCamp. Let us know your Monday motivation to get us through the show. And as the team is taking the field, they are getting ready as well. And believe it or not, Wolf, we can finally say a preseason game is in sights just days away on Thursday in Canton, Ohio against the Dallas Cowboys.
No question about it, Missy. One of the biggest moments for me as a rookie, because I remember my first preseason game. It meant that we were going to check into a hotel. We got air conditioning. We've got a mattress that's not horsehair stuffed. We've got room service, and we got a TV. It was all the accoutrements of high living back in the day when you were just coming out of camp going to a preseason game.
And the fans are back here inside Heinz Field as well. Steelers Fest on Saturday was awesome. Back here again on Monday. Cool weather, just in the 70s, not too hot. So Coach Tomlin will probably complain about that, Wolf, since he doesn't like when the weather feels just right. But you heard from Najee Harris there off the top of the show. Said Steelers Nation better than Bama fans.
I love that because, let's face it, Bama has some big fans, big-time fans. But you've got Steelers Nation here, Steelers Fest coming up. And yes, today is a bit chilly. Back in the day, we used to refer to it as wind chill. If it would drop below 90, you had wind chill. So today is all about wind chill.
All right, let's head over to the Ford Fan Zone. Overlooking practice, there is Mike Prisuta. Are we correct? It's not as hot as it has been, Mike, since the Steelers moved here to Heinz Field?
It's resort-like comfortable, Missy, and I'm enjoying it. And one of the things I'm enjoying about the start of another week here, I hadn't heard Wolf really crying and whining about how tough it used to be back in the day at Bonaventure Hall. But I'll tell you this, one reason why he does that, it really was tough. It was hot, it was nasty, and their camps were tougher than these camps. So Wolf, enjoy it, buddy. You've earned it.
Wolf will always enjoy it. We have good food up here in the North Club, Pursuit. I don't know what you're eating, but we keep Wolf happy with snacks, okay? All right, as I said, Triv, they are in pads once again, day off yesterday. Who can you tell us is practicing or maybe not practicing today by your estimation so far?
Well, I can tell you that Chukwuma Okorafor and Kevin Dotson are in pads, and they brought their helmets out to the field with them. I don't know if that means they're going to participate or not. Same with J.C. Hassenauer, so maybe that offensive line is going to have a different look. It looks like Cody White at wide receiver is still going to be out. Anthony Coyle, offensive lineman. Marcus Allen not geared up today, as well as T.J. Watt and Stephon Tuitt. Cassius Marsh is back in uniform, as is Trey Turner, who got hurt as the practice progressed on Saturday. So maybe some reinforcements, maybe not.
All right, well, you mentioned Kevin Dotson, Chukes Okorafor, and J.C. Hassenauer. That's all good news to Wolf. I'm going to talk to him about that in a little bit. But going back to Saturday, I know we've talked a lot about Alex Highsmith. What else did you see from him on that double dose of back-to-back days in pads?
This is the summer of Alex Highsmith. Just think back a year ago, Missy. This kid, and he's still a kid, he was a third-round pick from not the biggest conference in the world, certainly not the SEC. They were hoping he could be a complimentary pass rusher, give him 12 to 15 snaps a game in place of either Bud Dupree or T.J. Watt. Now fast forward, just 1 year later, not only is Alex Highsmith projecting as a starter, he's taken this year's rookies to school. On Friday, he introduced Najee Harris to how backs on backers is done from a defensive point of view. And then Saturday, the much anticipated, long awaited, oh my God, are we talking about this again? Backs on backers, the run game version. See if you can either set the edge or control the line of scrimmage. 6 reps between Alex Highsmith and Pat Fryermuth. And Mike Tomlin explained afterward, Missy, that was no accident. Tomlin cited the high motor of Alex Highsmith, the great finish of Alex Highsmith, and he said in very, very much Mike Tomlin-like fashion, we're going to pit Pat against that.
So what do you think we're going to see today, another day in pads in terms of maybe backs on backers or backers on tight ends, excuse me?
I don't know what we're going to see, but I'm starting to check things off as we go here. You know, we've seen a couple of backs on backers, the pass rush version. We saw backs on backers, the run game version. We've seen the 2-minute drill. All the quarterbacks have gotten a shot at that. Could it be time for a goal line drill? I mean, the conditions are perfect for it, because if these guys are tired at the end of practice today, something's wrong, because did I mention it is resort-like comfortable down here in the lower bowl.
Resort-like comfortable. I like that. We should tell the meteorologists in Pittsburgh to use that when they're giving the weather for the rest of the week if we stay here in the 70s. You mentioned Alex Highsmith going against the rookies, both Najee Harris and Pat Fryermuth. Najee Harris, if you have not seen the full interview that he did with the media on Saturday following practice, I highly suggest you go to Steelers.com or the official Steelers mobile app. He just seems like one of those guys, Triv, that you want to have a conversation with, and it can keep going and going. I know Angela from PR was like, come on guys, it's been 10 minutes. Like we need to get them going here.
Yeah, I think that went about 16 minutes. And one of the most fascinating aspects of it to me, he was also talking about Pat Fryermuth and blocking. And Najee Harris mentioned that Fryermuth missed a block on one of the plays in team run. And Harris told him, words to the effect, I'm going to paraphrase here, but hey, don't worry about it. I'm supposed to make the first guy miss anyway. If you miss your guy, keep going, keep playing to the whistle. If the block doesn't work out according to plan, try to find somebody else to block, and I'll take care of the first guy. It's amazing perspective that Najee Harris has. And Missy, I think it's also revealing too, it's apparently a team-wide emphasis. They got to get Pat Fryermuth up to speed blocking.
Absolutely. I also thought, Triv, it was interesting. Najee Harris, knows the history of the running back position in the NFL. He's not one of those guys that's like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah, somebody mentioned he doesn't know who Barry Sanders or Gale Sayers were, and he said, yes, I do. And another thing that really got my attention was he talked about dropping a ball. Somebody said, hey, you dropped a pass today. He said, I dropped a couple. And then he was asked about Cam Hayward missing a tackle on Najee Harris. And Harris said, hey, missed tackles are part of the game. He's got a next play mentality. He understands mistakes are going to be part of it. There are going to be errors. It's how you respond. Just a guy that he seems light years ahead in terms of getting it. And I know he still needs to work on his technique in blocking. He still needs to work on a lot of things. He is still just a rookie. But, boy, he seems to be approaching this and embracing this from a much different place than the usual rookie, Missy.
Yeah, and also embracing the fact that he's not just a running back. When asked once again about, going out, running routes, being a wide receiver, he made it very clear he is not a decoy. Yeah,
how about he almost took offense to that when that subject was broached, and he said the running backs coach, the offensive coordinator, Mike Tomlin, the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, they've all said you're not a decoy, you're alive. Hey, we saw that the first day in pads over here, did we not? He ran a slant against Devin Bush in 7 shots, and he scored.
And we're taking a live look down on the field, Triv. Najee Harris, Pat Fryermuth, fully dressed in pads, ready to go for practice today. Who knows what they're discussing? Maybe some blocking techniques, as you previously mentioned. Before I let you go, though, we asked fans for their Monday motivation. What's your Monday motivation for Wolf and I today, Triv?
Who, me?
Yeah, give us some Monday motivation.
It's a work day, baby. Time to go to work. What do you need more than that?
Time to clock in.
Tee it up, punch the clock. Let's go.
Okay, Triv, thanks as
Beautiful
always.
down here. Come out of your club, your high and mighty club with all your amenities, and enjoy the view from down here.
We would love to. We do go outside to watch practice, don't you worry. We're just not as close as you are.
Well, we all have to, do what we got to do in these circumstances.
Absolutely.
But it is going to be a beautiful day out here today. If you pick today as a fan to come and watch, you picked the right day.
All right. Thanks, Triv. Go get some good looks at practice and keep us posted. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. All right. Mike Prisuta, Wolf, enjoyable as always. Resort-like comfortable weather is how he put it. But, just going back to Najee Harris, what impressed you about what he was doing on Saturday?
You know, I think there's a couple things you got to look at. Number one is the oft-heard term competitive demeanor, but it really means something. It's not to be just taken and thrown about lightly. It's about having that sort of attitude and intensity that makes you stand up under whatever the conditions are. Whether you're taking on an Alex Highsmith and maybe it doesn't go so well, but you don't back down and you certainly give no quarter to it. You come back and you look for the next rep. You know, whether it's an inside linebacker, whether it's a bigger guy, small, he wants all types of bodies. He wants to test himself. This is what we're talking about when we talk about competitive demeanor. You want to put yourself against the best, making sure that you're taking each and every rep, not for granted, but as a learning experience to get better at. And then they talk about his strength. I mean, we heard Chico. That's Marcus Allen. What's Chico say? Chico says he don't duck no bump. He's not looking to get out of anything. He's going to come right at you. He's going to give you his full force, full strength. He's a strong young man, and he's going to use it to the best of his advantage. I'm impressed, again, by his competitive demeanor and willingness to step up and be able to take on in whatever circumstance he's in, and the fact that he can deliver on the run as he bounced off Cam Hayward, who, you know, Cam is frosty. When you bounce off Cam and he didn't tackle you, he's frosty about it. But at the same time, he also took a 3-yard loss and turned it into a 5-yard gain. Those are the types of things that you look at and go, wow, this young man's got something to him.
And there is the live look at Najee Harris as the Steelers return to practice here at Heinz Field today, all in pads. He did tell the media he is 240 pounds and less than 6% body fat.
My eyebrows are heavier than that. You know, the more percentage of body fat than that.
You know, Wolf, Najee was asked during his interview, as Prisuta said, it was quite lengthy, but very interesting, very insightful about not having a consistent O-line to work with. And he said, hey, look, my job is to make the most out of every run. It does not matter who's in front of me. So already having that mentality that there are no excuses about it. He's working on his craft and what he can do to help this offense.
But understand also, he's starting to develop a relationship with his offensive line. And that's key. That's really part of the whole part and parcel of being a running back. Look, the running game is all about the 11 guys working together, but it's the hogs up front that take it as a personal thing to be able to move the defense and move the rock down the field. And when you have a young man that comes and says, hey, just stay with your blocks, do the best you can. My job is to make that first guy miss. Well, you know what? All the hogs are going to sit there and say, our job is not to let that first guy get to you. And you love that sort of simpatico relationship between the two. It's going to build. When you have a young man that is not sitting there pointing fingers saying, oh man, you know, I was getting hit before he even got the, no, you know, I mean, he just comes out and says, I got to do what I got to do. And my whole thing is to make and create plays and yardage. So that's going to endear him to all the hogs. The hogs are going to be endeared to him. I like where we're at right now. We'll take that next step. Each and every day is one step towards getting a running game going.
In terms of when Le'Veon Bell was here, Wolf, so much was made about the O-line and the patience they also had to have due to his running style. What does Najee bring in terms of that and how the O-line would potentially have to adjust to him?
You know, it's interesting. You bring that up. You're really talking about changing the whole blocking scheme in a sense where it's now more about moving the people in front of you rather than Lev Bell moving the people for you. Look, back when Lev was at the height of his powers, let's say, as a running back, you know, one of the things he was great and famous for was his ability to play peekaboo with the second-level linebackers. You got the offensive linemen getting on the guys with their hands in the ground, and you stayed locked up. And the whole thing was not about necessarily moving or rolling that line of scrimmage back. It was about staying engaged with the man in front of you and being more upright so that you could stay locked on and letting Lev move the defense. As the defense saw him, they'd move with him. Right? Well, now Adrian Clem is going to probably install, I would think, more of a gap power blocking scheme along with the zone scheme so that you have more of a tendency to try to roll that line of scrimmage back and attack physically as an offensive lineman. You want to get after him. You want to hit him in the grill. You want to show that you, as an offensive line, you have that power to make people move, and it's not about the back. It's about you guys moving those guys out of the way and let Najee just rip it up in there.
All right, Triv talked a lot about backs on backers. That is something that is new to any rookie that comes here in terms of what Coach Tomlin likes to do in terms of the competition period. Najee was asked about getting acquainted to that drill, so let's take a listen.
What I try to do is I try to go up against everybody, you know, because, you know, everybody comes in all shapes and sizes. Some's bigger than others, some smaller. So what I try to do is I go up against a lot of guys so I can use, so I could try to use more technique and not more so much as like, you know, you're God gifted, what you're gifted with. So me picking out all the guys, me want to go up against DNs and stuff like that, it's teaching me mentally to like use better technique. So that's why you see me out there. If y'all do, you see me pointing out or yelling out for bigger guys and stuff like that, just so I can get that rep. So in the game, you know, it won't be something new to me.
Are the coaches ever like, hey, maybe we shouldn't go that big? Like, maybe
I think I talk to Tomlin every day before practice to say, like, listen, I want to go up against bigger guys. And he understands because, you know, he likes to compete. So, you know, every now and then he might say, oh, no. But for the most part, he's like, yeah, for sure. You can do whatever you want.
To go against the bigger guys, you heard Cam Hayward mad about what Najee Harris was able to do on Saturday. So, Wolf, final thoughts on 22. We will move on and talk a little defense today as well.
Well, one of the things I love is I can remember as a rookie standing out there and saying, yeah, give me Joe Green, give me LC Greenwood, give me Jack Splat. You know, never. But here's a young man that says, I want some big guys, I want some fast guys, I want the whole mix because I want to test myself and create the situations I'm going to find myself in a game. I respect that. I respect that in a man because it's about taking your game to another level, and you're only going to do that if you test yourself in the ways that you know that maybe you feel you're lacking a little bit, or you want to be able to create that scenario that's going to test your skills to the utmost.
All right, let's talk a little D-line. Cam Hayward also spoke after practice on Saturday. And Wolf, of course, we had to ask him about the Steelers' offensive line. Not a lot of continuity, but in terms of the D-line, those guys everybody is familiar with. What is the next step for them as a unit as they continue to work with the outside guys and a newcomer, Melvin Ingram?
Keep sharpening the sword and enter into the mentorship type of. And you
What
see right now,
Cam.
This is Cam catching punts.
Look at him. How many does he have right there? 4?
Yeah, he's got.
Oh, come on, Cam.
You know, I get the feeling that they gave him a gratis 4, and then he tried for number 5, and it all fell out. But the fact is, it's the mentorship of the young people. Because you as Cam Hayward, look, you are the large and in charge. You're the 800-pound gorilla in the room. I mean, this is what it's about to be that defensive key guy. All right, so the other guys rally around, but it's about now bringing these people in, these young guys, because they're looking at you, Cam. They're looking at you the way they used to look at Joe Green. You know, they look at you and they want to see what you represent to this defense, and it's all about his play and his energy and his, you know, making sure that guys are brought in and feel inclusive. If you feel, you know, there's a guy out there that maybe is just not able to, has not participated in the way that he should, Cam might just come over and kind of give him a little kick in the pants. Let's go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with leadership like that, and Cam is a great leader. He demonstrates that each and every day, and I so respect what he brings to this game.
And there we see Coach Tomlin down there with them as well. It is still special teams walkthrough, and the D-line's trying to get the equipment guys to get some of those punts to go their way to have a little fun as well.
I love the fact that they gave him 4 just because they put it in his hands there. He had 4. It wasn't like he earned 4 of them. He had 4, and then the 5th one just begoggled him.
All right, as you can see, they are moving around the field here for practice. I believe this is practice number 10, believe it or not. It still feels like we have a long way to go. Crazy, you know, because the week early with the Hall of Fame game. But when Cam spoke to the media on Saturday, Wolf, he talked a lot about that D-line, the veterans that they have there, and also the consistency that they want to keep. Take a listen.
Looks like the defense has had the edge in the practices the last couple days. I mean,
Yeah.
What kind of boost does that give you guys? I know Mike kind of focuses on, well, the offense is struggling, but what do you guys see from a defensive perspective?
You know, we're the more cohesive unit. You know, we've been together a lot longer, and we have some newer parts, but for the most part, we have a lot of guys coming back. So, you know, we should be winning these matchups. You know, we're just trying to get better every day. We know we're not a finished product, getting guys up to speed. You know, but I think our communication's got to get a lot better. A couple of times, guys ran down free. That's something that we got to stress now so we can clean it up before games start happening.
They're adamant. My question was going to be similar, but you guys kind of dominated the inside of the 11-on-11 run game today.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the back of one time. Najee did get away from you back there. Kind of bounced it to the outside and got 5.
Yeah.
Were you kind of surprised that he was able to get away?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just pissed at myself for not making the tackle.
Do you know who those offensive linemen are?
Do you know who those offensive?
The thing I loved about Najee, even in college, he was able to fight for extra yards, even though his offensive line, missed a block or two. He made me miss and, got 5 yards. And I hate it now, but I like it during the season.
Captain Cam, as we like to call him, Wolf, always honest and always keeping things fun as we see down there on the field. The players are going through warm-ups, then they will head to individuals. But Cam does have that mentality. He is the reason why so many guys look up to him, and he has consistently been a captain for the Steelers defense.
You watched the rise in this young man from the day he came. I remember watching him in his first practices and how he got in a fight with every offensive lineman by the end of the first week of him being in training camp. But the maturity level as he's grown to be this great Pro Bowl, All-Pro player and a great performer in Steelers history, and he will go down with the greats. He's as close to Joe Green as this town probably will ever see again. And you look at and see what he's done community-wise, the things that he does there, it's phenomenal. But what he means to this defense, he is the rallying force. And as Terrell Edmonds once told me, I said, "What's it like when you got to go back to the huddle with Cam in the huddle?" He looked at me and said, "It's not a nice experience. You just look at Cam and then you just be quiet."
Well, Cam also, his rookie year was the lockout, so he had no offseason. And when we were talking about the COVID year last year, the Alex Highsmith, Chase Claypool, Kevin Dotson, they kind of went through a similar thing. So Cam was always that guy that could kind of shed light to the media, the outside world, about what it's like heading into your first year in the NFL without that kind of preparation. But Cam's also somebody who was not instantly a starter. He played behind Brett Kiesel and Aaron Smith, guys who really helped him and brought him along. And eventually he obviously took over. And we know Cam today, but that was not Cam as he first started.
No, matter of fact, I remember being around Mr. Rooney. Mr. Rooney, God bless him, he walked in one time and I remember him saying, "What's going on with our number 1 draft pick?" Meaning Cam, because, he wanted to see him out on the field more, but Cam had not progressed to the point yet where he was able to overtake. Look, Brett Kiesel, Aaron Smith, Casey Hampton, those guys were all part and parcel of the makeup of Cam Hayward. He has grown into being this great player and a great leader through the institution of being under the auspices of these great guys. I mean, Kiesel and Aaron Smith were big in his development, both attitude-wise and play-wise. And you see the result of it today. That's what mentorship looks like when it's handed down generationally in the Steelers locker room.
All right, let's go from mentorship to motivation. As we told you, we are asking fans to submit their Monday motivation today. Everyone back to work after a day off yesterday. The Sunday scaries, as they call it. Wolf, I don't always look forward to Mondays, but here we are. This one is from Mario. We said, "Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work."
No question about it. One of the greatest comments I've ever heard about that was from the late, great Chuck Noll, man who really, he changed the trajectory of my life. And one of the things he always used to refer to is, look, if you're depending on me to get you psyched up to practice or to play a game, you're not going to be around here long. I'm probably going to have to cut you. But if you bring not your emotion, but your enthusiasm to the game, and self-generated enthusiasm, this is what you see right now. You see Cam talking with Cassius Marsh. You see him talking with TJ. Guys getting ready to play or getting ready to practice. And it's about bringing your enthusiasm to the game. It's about being an adder, not a subtractor, to be a multiplier of those around you, not a divider of those people around you. That's what Cam does. That's part and parcel of what all great leaders do. Ben on the other side. It's all a part of making sure that you are bringing that extra juice to the offense or defense, whatever you're doing, and be those guys that help motivate.
Well, and also, you mentioned getting ready to play. That is the case, though, for some of those guys. You mentioned Cassius Marsh. I'm sure if healthy and able, he's going to probably see a lot of snaps in that Hall of Fame game. Is there somebody that you're looking forward to seeing on Thursday, other than the obvious Najee Harris, Pat Freiermuth, maybe those guys? Yeah,
you know what? There's a number of guys that have an opportunity to be able to come out and make a statement about who they are. And, of course, one of the guys that I'm fascinated a little bit by, I know this is way out of left field, but you just asked me out of left field.
Yeah.
But Anthony Johnson from the University of Buffalo. He's from my hometown, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this is a guy that had some excellent work done in college at the University of Buffalo. He's a guy that's got some good speed. And, I'd just like to see him get his feet wet, some NFL competition. But, I also want to see UG3. you know, Ulysses Gilbert III. This guy has got so much potential, but potential's got to be unfurled at some point. You know, he's had injuries, and the biggest key is when you have an injury and you're a young buck, you got to make sure you come back and pick it up where you left off. Well, Jerry O says he's picked it up where he left off. Now, can he build on that? And as Mike talks about, stacking wins or stacking good practices and that lead up to a good game, because this guy's got so much potential. He's got so much athleticism, but as yet he's been unable to tap it.
All right, since you're talking about some guys on the inside, let's talk about Marcus Allen. He was also made available to the media following practice on Saturday, talking about maybe his transformation a year under his belt and also about Najee Harris. Let's take a listen.
So last year, you know, it was kind of new, so them getting up on me got me a little out my game. But this year, I'm trying to use more uses of my hands and swim moves. I definitely learned. I mean, I've been practicing my swim move a lot this off season and like trying to how to beat the backs and stuff like that.
Whenever in space and things, it's a lot different. You're a lot closer to the guy tackling. Was that an adjustment as much as he tell us? Oh
yeah, like coming up closer to the box and making those open field tackles is definitely much easier than, you know, from the back end and from safety. But you know, it's still work. You know, it's the NFL, so everybody got them wiggles on them.
What's it been like matching up with Najee so much in the back?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Najee he doesn't duck no bump. He's 240 for sure. He's strong, and I mean, it's a great bump to go against iron on iron.
So the roster's wrong with what they list him at. He's heavier. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, he's all muscle 240, definitely.
How spirited was that? It looked like the first time you guys were getting.
It got hot.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just, you know, two competitive people going at it, and after practice, you know, it's right back to normal. You know, that's my brother.
Well, does it look like it was played at first? I mean, on the other day, first back on backers, you were having fun. Then it turned into let's chat a little bit.
Yeah, that's how competition goes. Once I get him, he gonna get a little, you know, in his ego, and once he get me, I'm gonna get back in my ego. So it's gonna clash of the titans. You know, maybe we gonna have head on head collisions, like going smack at each other. So after all that calm down and our testosterone goes down, we get back to being teammates. You know how that goes.
All right, a lot to hear there, and also see just even the smile on Marcus Allen's face on Saturday after practice. You're taking a live look down on the field now. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to go off. So kind of unfortunate given that, you know, it is a game week, even though it is a preseason game, but I still think that's the way that Coach Tomlin is going to approach this week and how he gets the guys prepared.
Well, he's going to make sure to view the guys that he didn't have much viewage of, so to speak. You know, I mean, the new guys getting in there, the young guys. This is the developmental time for a lot of these young guys, these first-year players, obviously, but the second-year guys, too, that had no preseason, no OTAs, and maybe didn't contribute all that much last year, be it special teams or otherwise. So this is that foundational period, substantial period where they can get reps, they can grow, they can start to show that they're NFL capable. And so this is an important game because, number one, you don't want to start off with a poor game. You want to be able to come out and drive a stake in the ground and says, okay, this is who I am. And then the next step is to increase your productivity in the next game and the next game. Because I can guarantee you that as a young buck, you need all 4 games, as many games as you can get. I remember my rookie year, and it was the 4th game in Dallas, coming down to the last game where it was really decided about whether or not, you know, I was going to be able to make the team. And I had to have a performance on my final preseason game. So I played just about the whole game. And besides that, all the special teams too, which a lot of hogs don't do nowadays. But man, back in the day, we used to play them all.
I feel like every player on this team, whether it's offense or defense, is asked and talking about Najee Harris. In terms of the defense, what do you think those guys say, especially when they're going back into the film room in their unit or position groups and discussing what they're doing against somebody like him? Well,
the biggest thing is, you know, that all eyes are on Najee. So when you go against Najee, those eyes are going to be on you. That's your opportunity to step into the spotlight and shine, so to speak. You also know that he's going to bring that competitive demeanor to you. you better likewise be able to show that you have competitive demeanor coming back at him. And that sort of thing is what Marcus Allen was just referring to in that instance, was the fact they come back at each other and boom, you're going to go tooth and nail at each other. You're a couple of big dogs. Like I said, you've got alpha males all over this team. And alpha males, when they come head to head, there's going to be a clash. That's what it is. You got NAJEE, you got Marcus. That's about displaying who you are and what you're going to do.
All right, we do want to head over to the offensive line if that's possible. We know Wolf likes to see this every single day for very good reasons, but I do feel like, Wolf, when we were looking at Cam Hayward, TJ Watt was near him, when they were crossing paths with the offense, I think I saw a Zach Banner fully suited up today, which I think would be a really good sight. And Trey Turner looks like he's back in pads today. So kind of take us through what you're seeing as we jump over to the O-line. Thanks to them for getting that shot.
Well, you can see something that we never had in our day. We had pads. We had no pad. There's no way they'd let you hold a pad like that. Good for them now that they do it. But right here, you've got J.C. Hassenauer working as a center, and you've got Trey Turner as the guard. And what you're doing is working on a backside cutoff. And you're taking the proper steps. Now watch is, okay, it's just a straight block here, and Trey is just using his hands on the inside out. It's all part of working the schemes over and over and over again, because you need that repetition so that you can do this without even thinking about it. All you want to do is be able to, what I call, breathing the play. That's it. They call the play, you go to line of scrimmage. You don't even have to think about it because it's already unfolding through countless repetitions you have done physically and countless repetitions you have done mentally when you do your mental gymnastics. Those are important, and you've got to make sure that you do them. And I can't emphasize it enough. Right here, we're seeing the tight end and tackles working together. Dan Moore, Zach Gentry. Again, coming off, capturing the edge. If you see the butt like that on Zach Gentry, means a cutback to that running back. Najee's going to look at that. If he sees the backside of that offensive lineman pointed like that, he's going to cut it back. Now you've got the block back. That's JC blocking back, and the guard is pulling and coming down the line of scrimmage. So he's taking the proper angle to block back on a guy. And you can see, of course, the coaches are signaling to the defensive guys how he wants them to go.
Eric Ebron, as we see in the back, doesn't look like he'll be able to go, still dealing with that elbow injury. But Chuks Okorafor, who Mike Prisuta mentioned during his report, also out there. So this is a good day for some O-line watching.
It is indeed. You've got a Yeti sighting with the great Zach Banner. I mean, he is so massive. I love hanging out with Zach because it's so funny. I look at him, I go, at one time we played the same position, but in two different eras. And it might have been a Jurassic era and now. But, he's a fun-loving guy. He loves football, and he's a lot of fun to be around, which for an offensive lineman, let's face it, the fun is in dominating guys physically. The fun is watching a Najee Harris or a Benny Snell or Anthony McFarland take it to the house. The fun is keeping your quarterback upright. These are all the things that inspire offensive linemen. You got to find the fun within your group together, because it's not like they're going to high-five you all over the place when, a back scores or stuff. It's about enjoying what you provide for others to, expand upon, and that's what the offense is all about.
In terms of the O-line, knowing there is a game on Thursday, how do you go between, running the ones whenever Ben's playing and then maybe getting a line set and ready to go to be prepared to play in an actual game?
Well, this is the art of continuity. How do you put together a line that right now you haven't even had your tackles go through a whole practice, your projected starting tackles,
right.
And really nobody's really worrying about it. Adrian Clem is not really worrying about it. He's trying to get each guy individually ready. The continuity will come as we progress through camp. It's still very early. What you want to do is make sure that each and every guy is receiving the proper attention and making sure that they're dotting the I's, crossing the T's in all their assignments, working on their technique. The continuity will come when you get them together. The chemistry will come through blood, sweat, and tears as you progress through training camp in the preseason. That'll come. It's all part of getting the reps. And right now, I think we got Zach Banner right there. Yep. Just getting he's lining up. That's all I can say. I'm excited to see it. You see Trey Turner, who's pretty much a road grader himself, and a very large man, but he doesn't look all that large standing next to Zach, does he?
Not many people do.
No, not many people do. But I've enjoyed Zach Banner ever since he got here. He's a hard-working guy. He has worked super hard to get himself ready to play. Right here, they run a twist stunt, and you can see Zach passed it off to Trey. Then Trey's man ran a twist, came behind, and Zach would pick up his man. So right now they're looking at pass protection, working a little bit. It would be nice if Zach could keep his head off the guy, punch, and let that guy, as you punch him across the face of Trey, then you can drop back to pick up the guy looping around.
Kendrick Green told us last week he was not looking as far ahead, which at this point is not that far ahead anymore, of the Hall of Fame game. Coach Tomlin pretty much cemented he was going to be the starter at center. Do you think as we're getting closer now that he is starting to think about that first start?
Oh, there's no question in my mind. You can't help it. You're a competitor. You look at that game. You are in the Hall of Fame game there in Canton, Ohio, the birthplace of professional football, place where so many of your heroes are in the Hall of Fame there. And by the way, I have been in the hall, where the busts are.
Oh, yeah.
Like John Madden by myself. They do talk to each other. I'm telling you, Missy, they talk to each other. But the fact is, to be that guy going into your first game and starting there, what a great opportunity to show everybody what you're capable of doing. So I look for this young man to be very, very, excited and intense in going about his business for his first game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, I would think, for him.
All right, well, let's jump around to another position group. Do you have anywhere you'd like to go?
Well, I enjoy, again, talking about the linebackers. I got to tell you something. I know everybody's so high on Alex Highsmith. I am too. You look at this young man, and I think, when we saw him come out, he not only has he really showed his abilities, but he started to dominate the way you want to see a dominant player take that next step. Be it with the tight ends or be it with the tackles, whether it's pass coverage. He's more of a rusher than he is in pass coverage, but at the same time, this young man is really starting to turn heads. And when he got out there with the Freiermuth and some of these other guys, you want to see Pat, be able to get the job done. But the dominant way sometimes that Alex was able to handle it, you just go, whoa, this cat's got some real play in him. You
Put
want to
some
see
work
him grow.
in the offseason in.
Yes. Here's the thing about Alex Highsmith. He came in and he looks like he's been spending the whole offseason pumping the iron. And when you do that and you have that ability to come out and display not only that, okay, you look good in pads and everything else, but you can dominate with those new tools that you've given yourself, the added strength, the quickness. You're excited to see it and see the growth. There's another guy, Quincy Roche. You want to look at him and see what he can do, what he's capable. The way he moves. I love the fact that he's got some nice pass rushing ability, but the thing about it is, I want to see, does that translate his ability to turn his shoulders and create small surfaces for the opposition to punch him in the chest? That's all nice and tidy in college, but can it translate in the pros? We'll find out. But right there you can see they're working on their clubs, working on their ability to pivot at the top, running the arc to the back end. All good stuff that if you're a pass rusher, you want to make sure you master.
Melvin Ingram has not been here very long. What have you seen from him so far since joining the Steelers?
It was funny the other day was when we had pads here a couple days ago. And I'm trying to remember, I think it was John LeGlue or maybe Anthony Coyle. And I shouldn't even give names, but somebody was supposed to trap Mel Ingram. And Melvin showed the art of trapping the trapper. It's a wise vet seeing the trap coming and knowing this is how you close the trap. And whoever was the guard, I shouldn't have put out names about it, I wasn't sure who it was, but whoever was the guard, he got his head snapped back because Mel Ingram saw it coming and just displayed, this is how you close the trap. And I hope that the other young bucks were watching that because it was a great display right then and there of what a veteran knows. You make sure that you are the aggressor and you close the trap.
Are you starting to get excited about the possibility of him, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, that three-man rotation, or do you need to see a little bit more, maybe some game action first?
There's no doubt you want to see game action, but I have no question marks in my mind over what he's capable of doing. What I'm interested even more in is, and I've seen film of him on the inside, right, moving about and kind of picking out who the pigeon he's going to rush on. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you have that situation where you've got 5 offensive linemen and you want to go, I think this guy over here, he might be someone I want to test. And he is been and shown some very physical, dominant rushes from the inside position. So given the fact that we lost Vince Williams, who was a very good blitzer in his day, I like the fact that Melvin Ingram has shown capabilities of being able to really bring it from the inside position.
All right, in terms of what you are looking forward to this week of practice, the Steelers go today, tomorrow, Wednesday is closed, game on Friday, day off, back on Saturday. I think I have my days right. Prisuta said he is hoping for a goal line drill at some point. What are you looking forward to this week, Wolf?
You know, it's the same thing, whatever the drill is. Whatever the drill is about taking the next step forward and being more proficient and being better at it. For the offensive line, it's going to be, if there is a goal line drill, which you want to have because you want to make sure that you're able to be comfortable in the short yardage and goal line offense, the low red zone stuff, then you want to make sure that you understand what, you know, all the plays are and have it nailed down, because you don't want to be out there Thursday night and going, you know, we didn't really cover this. Oh, yes, we did cover it, but you just didn't get it right. That sort of thing. You don't want to have any of that hesitation. I would think it's going to be a modified cut down period, goal line wise, but I think they're going to bring it and bring it hard. And you want to make sure that you're able to bring it hard as well. So yeah, at that, I want to make sure that the pass protection, you want to make sure that you're keeping your people upright. Defensively speaking, you want to make sure you're practicing all your communication things. You know, when you've got motion going in front of you and so forth, that defense has to really communicate, because otherwise, you know, as they say, as long as we're on the same page, we'll be all right. But when you got one guy saying one thing and another guy not another and so forth, that's where you have a lot of problems and people run free. So whatever drill is, communicate, make sure that you're just getting better at it. All I can say is play the game. I'm so excited to see the game.
I'm excited. After practice, we'll get a chance to hear from Minkah Fitzpatrick. He is also one of those guys, maybe it's a Bama thing, very insightful, maybe not as highly entertaining as Najee. He just kind of has that personality, but always good to pick the brain of Minkah Fitzpatrick to see what he's thinking or what he thinks of the group that he's on.
You know what I love is when you sit down with Minkah and you just have an opportunity, not even sit down, you're just talking for a few minutes, you know, and you just kind of pick his brain a little bit about what he sees from the safety position and how he goes about his business, whether the dynamics of motions and the route trees and the personnel package that he's confronted with and what that does to tip him off possibility-wise. These are all things that just run through his mind like a computer. I mean, he is like the Terminator back there. And I love the way he goes about preparing to play and then his actual ramp up to and playing in the game. The guy is special. He showed it immediately when he got on the field. You know, the football seems to find Minkah more than it seems to find other people.
All right, well, if that was the horn, that was Ben Roethlisberger. He's in pads and shorts today, so they are going to begin their competition period. Don't forget, we'll be back with the wrap-up show following to break it all down for you. Thanks for joining us here today on Training Camp Live, presented by FedEx. We'll see everybody tomorrow.